The PFA Team of the Year is announced. City stroll past United, Bayern Munich get incredibly lucky, Wolves sink the Gunners, and we've got a roundup of the day's transfer rumours. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Folick, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. But before we get started, again a quick reminder of the amazing new release from the Onefootball app. Along with 11 sports, our users in the UK and Ireland can now watch selected La Liga matches inside the app from just £3 or €3.50. This means, for example, that over the weekend you can watch Barcelona potentially lift the title against Levante and also Real Madrid play against their city rivals Rayo Vallecano. There is no subscription required and your payment will be taken through the iTunes Store or the Play Store. So to get started, make sure you click the link in the description below to download the Onefootball app and just go to the relevant match page. But with that said and done, let's get back into the daily news. First off, and the PFA Team of the Year has been announced, and although it may seem a little bit ridiculous, it's kind of fair that most of the players come from Manchester City and Liverpool because they've been by far and away the two best teams in the division this season. However, there is one ridiculous inclusion and we'll get to him in just a little bit, but let's run through the team at first. In goal, it's Ederson. No one's really going to complain with that unless you're a fan of Alisson. Both have been amazing this season, but I think for me, Ederson just gets the nod. The centre-back partnership of Laporte and Van Dijk is completely acceptable. They've both been brilliant. However, the full-back positions, I think it's a little bit lazy just to pick Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, especially as Alexander-Arnold's been injured for a little while as well. He has recently come back to the team, of course, but I think there are other players who could have been in with a shout. Matt Doherty at Wolves has been brilliant. Lucas Dean at Everton and Danny Rose have all found fantastic seasons, so they could have potentially earned themselves a place as well. Getting into the midfield, and this is where things get a little bit ridiculous. First off, Fernandinho definitely deserved, brilliant player. Bernardo Silva, again, same thing, been fantastic for Manchester City. However, Paul Pogba being in there is absolutely ridiculous. He was shocking at the start of the season, so bad he didn't even play and got his manager sacked. Then he managed to bag a few penalties, and now he's back to being on poor form and looks like he could be packing his bags and moving to Real Madrid. There is no way he deserves to be in the team of the season, even if he did have a little purple patch. There are far more players who deserve it. The likes of Ruben Neves, Christian Eriksen, Gini Wijnaldum, Doucouré and even Declan Rice all deserve to be in that ahead of Paul Pogba. Given his performance last night as well, you can see that he's just not up to that level this season. Moving on to the front three, and it's probably what you expected. A front three of Sterling, Aguero and Mane. They've all been brilliant this season. But of course, also Mohamed Salah, Heung-min Son and Eden Hazard all have a fairly good claim to be included in that front three. So there you have it, the team of the season. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below. I'll be really interested to know what you think. And what about Paul Pogba's inclusion? As for the PFA Player of the Year, well, it hasn't been announced just yet, but reports are stating, unconfirmed reports, that Virgil van Dijk has just pipped Raheem Sterling to the title, and a Liverpool player has won it for the second year in a row. Again, that's unconfirmed, but if Van Dijk does take home the trophy, well, it's thoroughly deserved, as the central defender has been brilliant this year. So with all the talk of Manchester City and Manchester United, what better place to start a roundup of the football than with their match last night, where Manchester City were far the better side. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer admitted after the game that they are far away from their rivals and things need to improve, but how can it be done? Is he the problem? Are the players the problem? Which I think is the most likely. Are the board the problem? What needs to be done at Manchester United in the summer so they can even get close to thinking about challenging Manchester City for the title, or even get close to a Champions League spot? We'll move on to that in a little bit, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to bring the top level of European football to Old Trafford next season. After the weekend's performance, Solskjaer demanded a response from his players. He got it, but then it showed that they just weren't good enough. The effort wasn't there on Sunday, the effort was there last night, but then the quality just wasn't. In particular, Fred had a really poor game. He managed to get around the pitch and win the ball back, but then his passing was absolutely atrocious. The negative tactics from Solskjaer didn't help as well, and in the end, Manchester City were just too good. They now, yet again, hold that 1-point lead over Liverpool. It is in fact the 28th time the title has changed hands this season. But we'll move away from English football just for a second and to the DFB Pokal, which is the German equivalent of the FA Cup, where we have our two finalists. For the first time ever in their history, RB Leipzig will be contesting a final against, of course, Bayern Munich. Who else? Now, on the front of it, you may look like, of course, they're the best team in Germany. Of course, they're in the final. However, they got very, very lucky against Werder Bremen last night. After leading 2-0, Bremen came back to make it 2-2 before a ridiculous penalty was given for Bayern Munich. Kingsley Coman burst past the defender into the box and there was barely a touch on his hand before he went down. The penalty was given, but the issue was no VAR was used. VAR is available in Germany, the referee could have gone and seen, but for some reason he stuck to his guns and it wasn't used. After the game, of course, this caused absolute havoc, where loads of Bremen players were surrounding the referee, and Max Kruse, the Bremen striker, was pretty upfront in his interview. He branded the game absolutely ridiculous and again questioned why VAR wasn't used. He also had a scuffle with Jerome Boateng at the end of the match, and obviously, as you can imagine, they were pretty pissed off that they didn't make it through to the final. With so much debate about whether VAR is good or bad for the game, how can we even judge it when it's not even being used by the referee? Absolutely ridiculous. Of course, let me know your thoughts on VAR down below, and we'll move on to the last of today's daily news. And well, it's about Wolves back in the Premier League, beating Arsenal, and it looks like no one really wants 4th place in the Premier League. With Spurs picking up victory against Brighton late on, they now look set to finish in 3rd place, and they could do this weekend if results go their way and they manage to beat West Ham. But as for Chelsea, well, they drew against Burnley on Monday night. Manchester United have lost 2 in a row, as have Arsenal. A shocking first half display saw them 3-0 down to Wolves, and they just couldn't recover in the second half, despite scoring a goal. But Arsenal fans, what is the issue there? Why is their away form so bad? Surely it's nothing that Unai Emery can do about it. He's got the players who perform fantastically well at home, but every time they seem to leave London, they just can't pull the business off. Now, maybe they'll have to bring in a few summer signings, but one of them that they'll definitely need to replace is Aaron Ramsey. In fact, I did do a video about it yesterday, so you can check the link in the description below as well to check out 5 potential replacements for Aaron Ramsey in Arsenal's midfield. But lastly but not least, we come to a roundup of all the day's transfer rumours. And first off, Liverpool are going to make a big push in the summer for Lyon's 20-year-old wonder kid, Houssem Aouar. Elsewhere, and Barcelona are willing to let Andre Gomez go after his loan deal from Everton expires for around £25 million. Real Madrid are willing to offer Eden Hazard around £400,000 a week should he move to the Bernabeu, and Leicester and West Ham are both interested in AC Milan's attacking midfielder Hakan Çalhanoğlu. So there you have it, that's all from me for today's daily news. Of course, let me know your thoughts down below. Smash the like button whilst you're down there and click here or here to check out all of the other videos that I've got going on in Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.